You know, sometimes I really want to put my face on the screen like I used to. And you might wonder, why don't I do that? Well, it takes longer to edit, it takes longer to upload. It's just a much slower process than it is for me to use that little cartoon image of myself on my images while I talk about these matches. I'm Adam Lavelle of WrestlingDoneRight.com. We are at the semi-main event of Night 8 of the N1 Victory Tournament from Noah. And that happened earlier today, last night in Japan. And that match is Kenoh versus Yoshiki Inamura. And I am once again amazed. I am once again just excited. That's why part of me wants to put my face in these videos up in the corner like I used to, because you could see the gleam in my eye and a smile on my face. And that's been so rare when I've watched wrestling for so long, except when I watch Pro Wrestling Noah. Guys, it's not hyperbole and it's not exaggeration when I say I am so thankful for this company and wrestlers like Kenoh and Yoshiki Inamura, who put on a display of greatness that you won't see hardly anywhere else. I mean, I've said this in the past. Some people have it out there in the wrestling world, other places, people like Gunther, they absolutely have what I'm talking about. I think Braun Breaker has what I'm talking about. And there's a handful of others that I could name. Bryan Danielson, maybe a few others. But Kenoh and Yoshiki Inamura just went to work. You know what I mean? This wasn't a wrestling match. I mean, it was. It was what a wrestling match is supposed to look like. But it was a work. And there's a difference between a work and a cooperation, a work and a performance. Kenoh knew that if he won this match, he was going to the finals of the N1. He sat at 9 points. If he won this, it'd be at 11. And I don't think anyone else is going to get 11. Even if Kiyomiya wins the next match, he'd only stand at 10. But he would go on to face Kenoh. Yoshiki Inamura knew that he didn't stand a chance of getting to the final, but he could play a spoiler. He could stop Kenoh. And so they started this match just with a handshake, and then they started slapping each other. Not girly slaps, open hand palm strikes to the face. That can knock you out. If you don't think you can be knocked out by an open hand palm shot to the face, you're an idiot and you need to go watch Friends or something and leave wrestling alone. Because you can be. And there's been people in Noah shoot knocked out by it by accident. Right, Nakajima? He knocked a mother effer out in DDT with an open hand strike. And I think that's why he's not in Noah anymore. That's never been confirmed, but it's just my personal belief. They sort of turned on him after that. He knocked the champion of DDT out with a strike. Anyhow, this led to them it seemed like they wanted to take abuse. That sounds ridiculous. But when it comes to the pride, when it comes to the fighting spirit in Puresso, Kenoh and Yoshiki Inamura accepted the punishment from each other because they wanted to see who could endure. And if they accepted the punishment from each other and hardly resisted, because they hardly resisted, there was very little defense in this match other than some ducks and a few reversals. Other than that, they took each other's shots. They took each other's slams, kicks, chops, open hand slaps, and kept advancing toward each other. It was something to behold as two warriors did battle in the squared circle of pro wrestling Noah. And this fan was on the edge of his seat, leaning in, watching with anticipation as they delivered haluva kicks, if you will, to one another and survived them just barely. As they delivered Kenoh with that double knee drop from the apron onto Inamura, who's laying on the floor. I mean, they cut away to Manabu Soya, who was in the crowd with his mouth hanging open, his jaw dropped, like, oh my God. I mean, that's insane. And that's hard, you're hard to kayfabe that move. Hard to work that move. But this was everything a wrestling match needs to be. I'm at 4 minutes. I'm not going to go on and on about it, describing what happened. It was just a battle, a nonstop advancement by both guys, beating each other to death. Without it, there were a couple throws, there were a couple suplexes. The professional foot stomp ended it. Kenoh wins it and advances to the final. But there was nothing fancy about this move. There wasn't leaps and dives and twists and turns and car crashes and parties and cheerleading competitions. There never is in Noah. There wasn't in this. I loved this. This meant as much to me as the earlier match, Oka, Sasaki, and Tavian Heights. I loved that too. This show, I'm not even done rating it, and I'm telling you, it's going to get a 10. because there's no way Kaito Kiyomiya and Jack Morris is going to screw it up. I have loved everything about this show. But I'm not at the end, so we'll go over it when I get to the last match. But my God, Kenoh advances against a very strong and determined Yoshiki Inamura, who just came up a little short. But we're talking about Kenoh, one of the best in the world, and he certainly proved it here.